This is the bolt, and it rides on the bolt slide or bolt carrier or slide, however you want to call it. Mossberg called it a bolt slide. And the locking block, this piece right here, is forced up and down by the bolt slide. So when it goes closed, now the action bars carry this back and forth on the slide itself. So the action bars pull it forward, the bolt chambers around in the chamber and stops, and at that point the locking block portion of the locking block lines up with a hole in the barrel extension and can move into it. And what happens is the bolt carrier actually shoves it in. Now we have two types of guns here. There's a couple of styles of magazine tubes. If the magazine tube has a spring-loaded band on it, the forearm assembly, action bar assembly, will not come off without first taking out the magazine tube. Magazine tube is taken out by putting the front of the magazine tube in a smooth-jawed vise. Do not squeeze in here. You'll collapse it. But look. Can you see the solid metal right here? We have a bolt. Now this is pretty well sectioned so you can see how it works, but it comes apart very easily. Take a punch and drive out the locking bolt pin. Remember, these parts are restricted, so don't screw them up and don't lose them. The locking block will now fall out, retained by yonder pin. This pin, as you can see, has serration stamped into it to puff it up. So when the pin goes in, it's loose in the bolt and tight in the locking bit. Remember that the left-hand extractor goes in the left-hand side. That's the extractor that has the negative extractor hook. And while you're doing it, inspect this area and this area for burrs, and smooth it up if necessary with a stone, because the round will feed up here in most cases. If it's snaggy, it'll catch it and may not want to feed well. So that should be smooth, and this should be chamfered, that should be chamfered slightly so it won't catch anything. Now this is a left-hand extractor, so we'll put it in the left side. We have two springs that look identical. That's because they are. In addition to the buttstock with the magazine in it, we also have an accessory magazine that can screw to the receiver. And if it has a hole in it right here, so that you can still take the gun apart if you line up the pin hole with the pin in the receiver for the trigger guard. And the little magazine can also go in the buttstock to hold extra shells there. Now, of course, that spoils it for a left-hand shooter unless you put it on this side. So it's a dedicated gun after that. It'll go in the receiver, can go in the buttstock. Your choice. I don't know that I need this. I like my guns a little more civilized. I'll just fill my pockets. But for those of you who need to run and load, this is a good idea. It actually is.